right, we got this video game trend is killing single player games. Oh my god, what's the trend?
Dishonored, 88%. Batman Arkham City, 94%.
Nice.
Mass Effect 2, 96%.
Nice.
What do these games have in common? It's not just great Metacritic scores.
They got good gameplay and good story, is what I can tell, because I think I played all of those.
All legendary single-player games made by some of the best developers of their generation. Want to know what else they have in common? Redfall, 56%.
Oh, Jesus.
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, 60%. Anthem, 59%. All the most recent games from their respective...
And I think he's taking, the critic scores. Those are the critic versions, not the audience ones, because if he did the audience ones, they would probably be red.
developers, all critical and commercial flops, and all live service games. So what happened? How could respected names like Arcane Austin, Rocksteady, and BioWare release games this reviled? Hi folks, it's Falcon.
Oh, so that was the thing in common. Like, the same companies made the good games, and then years later, they made the bad games. I could guess why.
And in a word, it's live services. Instead of focusing on the single-player games they were so good at, these developers were led astray by the promise of guaranteed profit. But
I never even played any of those games that he mentioned the second time. Like, live service isn't inherently bad. It just so happens that the games that prosper from live service have already... Like, I think they were like more or less like early adopters of live service. Like, if a new game comes out and it's live service today, chances are you're competing with people that already have made up their mind that this is my live service game. They're already invested in both the knowledge, the skill, and the time in that their favorite live service game that already exists. Probably like one of the newer ones, live service games, is probably Apex. I think it's about 3-ish years old. And before that, you know, there was Fortnite, there was a ton of live service games. Like, I think Halo's a little bit on the newer side, like Halo Infinite. It's like 1 or 2 years old, I think. I don't remember. I don't play Halo. What other live service shit? You got Counter-Strike, Valorant, Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota. All those games have already established themselves of each respective genre way earlier than, you know, like people trying to come out today with like, oh, live service is the new hotness and all that jazz. You can't just make a live service game and just bank on people to, oh, people love live service, look at all those games. Well, then you make a live service and then don't get, you know, surprise Pikachu face when none of the people over that live service leave to try this new one. All right. That's not going to happen.
As we figured out in 2024, there are no guarantees in the games industry. Right now, it seems like all a developer can do is stick to what they're good at and hope for the best. But these guys didn't do that. Instead, they decided to follow a dangerous trend that's killing single-player games, and they're paying for it. And don't get us wrong. At Game Ranks, we are definitely frustrated and pissed off at the current state of the industry. But it's not like we...
Bro, I think I bruised my gum when I was like brushing my teeth. You ever do that? Like when you're brushing your teeth and you just like take like a wrong angle and you just like slam the plastic side of your toothbrush like into your gum. And you're like, oh fuck. I did that shit yesterday, and I'm paying for it now.
Celebrate gleefully once great studio's reputation ends up in the dumps. It sucks.
Yeah.
I loved.
As a quick meme comment, you're only as good as your last game.
BioWare. And it feels like there has been a pretty fair amount of these types of videos where we're talking about what's wrong with the game. And yeah, it's easy rage bait.
Bro, why is everybody shitting on the world's first quadruple A game? That's 4 A's. That's 4 times the awesomeness. Skull and Bones does not deserve any of this, all right? How are you going to do this to the first quadruple A game? Yes, that's all satire.
But I don't take joy in tearing stuff down. We don't take...
I do. Bro, I have gotten to the point where I am invested in the games that I am invested in. I like the genres and the IPs that I like currently. Like, granted, I used to play like old Mass Effect, Dishonored, and what was the other one? Like old Assassin's Creed games. What else? All the Arkham Batmans. Like, I loved all those games 100%. But if the current trend is all of those same studios and developers coming out with shit versions of those games, I can still love the old games, but I don't have to like the new ones. All right. It's not like since Suicide Squad is out, all of that completely discounts all of the other like original Arkham City Batman series. Those games still exist and you can play them and they're awesomeness. Same thing with Dishonored, early Assassin's Creed games, you know, Black Flag, so on and so forth. Mass Effect. Just because the current iteration of your favorite game is dog shit doesn't mean that that discounts like what happened in the past. 100%. Like, but like currently, I mean, some of my favorite shit is like Monster Hunter and the aim training. All right, Kovacs Aim Lab, Aim Beast. That's the current trend, and sprinkled in a little bit of fucking World of Warcraft because I'm a dork.
Joy wallowing in the filth. Yes, it's sometimes funny to point and laugh.
Oh yeah,
but we are losing.
I love pointing and laughing. Oh, I love it. Look at that company. They did a big blunder. They did a big blunder boo boo. Let's all point and laugh at it. I love doing it, man. And if you were to ask me when I was a little kid, you're gonna be like a hate watcher, or it's like there's this like weird. It's not weird because I am. There's this group of people that I don't know. I would associate myself with, and it's like if you hate watch something, or if you like watch reviews on it, and you quickly realize how dog shit the game is. You don't necessarily need to go and post about it on all fucking 17 social medias. You can just sit back and relax and just laugh at the circus that is unfolding in front of you. That shit is so funny. I love watching that shit happen. All right, I can vote with my wallet and not buy your shitty ass game with 4-day access, season pass, battle pass, DLC, like $130 version of your game. Fuck that. It's not life or death for me. No one's forcing me to buy your game. How about that?
Great game creators, and I just wish it didn't have to be that way. There's a specter haunting the games industry, a specter called the live service. It's infected the minds of every corporate suit and bean counter, and can you really blame them? They've seen runaway success with games like Fortnite, which is still absurdly popular and makes money hand over fist, and the guys at the top of these publishing companies, they all want a slice of that pie. It doesn't.
I mean, you can try. No one's stopping you from trying. From making the next new, biggest, latest, greatest live service game. But you got to understand, you're going up against titans. You're going up against people that walked the path first. All right? In the jungle that is video games.
Doesn't matter if it makes sense. They see the other guy's number go up, so they want their number to go up.
Yeah.
The problem is, all these guys assumed that the pie was infinite, that you'd be able to cut off as many slices as you wanted forever, and it wasn't.
Nope.
There are 8 slices of the
No, like, how it works is that, you know, it was a gamble for Fortnite and to make a Battle Royale version of the game, because, like, initial Fortnite, the game, it was like some fucking doofy-ass defense bullshit wave defense thing, where you could like build and craft like gates and shit. It's like I wasn't even interested in it. But you know, a year or two later, they came out with a battle royale version with a little the ride the bus, drop down, and whatever. And all of a sudden, hey, there's infinite replay in that. That's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. All right, they're early adopters of the shooting genre. You know, they made a brand new, well, they didn't make the mode. There were like BRs before it, you know, H1Z1, PUBG, the Arma mod or whatever. They simply took an idea, added a shitload of polish on it, and then said, here, guys, try this. And it's family friendly. There's no gore, there's no blood. And there you go. And everybody ate that shit up, man. And because of the meteoric success that Fortnite had, everybody knows about it. Like, if you're trying to make a new live service shooter, good luck. Like a new live service battle royale shooter, good luck, man. 'Cause, like there was probably there's Counter-Strike, Valorant are like the main ones, and then Fortnite, and then I think Call of Duty came. Call of Duty wasn't live service; it was always like seasonal, like yearly bullshit with the CDL and whatnot. So kind of Call of Duty, and then Apex, and then Halo had its own little thing. So it was like COD and Halo were always like year on year, like keeping it was never like a live service thing, but as far as like like competition goes, those were always a thing. But like I don't understand how single player games can try to do like live service, like Diablo. What else? Like the ARPG genre. Like, I mean, I guess that was always a thing. But as soon as because I used to play ARPGs like back in the day on my console, but I wasn't like plugged into the internet back then as I am now. So, like a live service game coming out and is touting itself as a single player experience is so weird to me. It just is. I mean, like I have invested like a shit ton of hours into Borderlands 2 on my old console. I mean, I don't know if you could like qualify that as like a live service game. You know, they came out with a new DLC. It was massive. I loved it. There was the season pass. I like again. I wasn't as plugged into the internet as I am back then as I am now. I didn't realize that. Oh my god, I didn't. I don't actually know if Borderlands is like good or bad according to the internet. I would like to think it was like one of the first games that pioneered like the looter shooter genre to much praise. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I liked it still.
Industry profits pie. Fortnite, GTA Online, Genshin Impact, and Fortnite is another one. Also Fortnite 2 also. I'm going to mention Fortnite one more time, giving that out to six pieces of the pie. Everybody else trying to get those 2 pieces. Let's just call them the scraps for now.
And there's like a considerable chunk that Apex has. There's probably like a little sliver that Halo has, another little sliver that like Warzone has. What else? And then there's all like the weird wonky tier 2, tier 3 battle royales that are like so like obscure. You have to like be looking for them, like actively looking for new shit to even realize that they're out there.
These guys didn't account for how that was going to shake out, though. They just saw the big hay bales of money going to Epic and Rockstar and Blizzard, and they're like, I like money. Hey, people who are doing something that works.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. GTA is also live service. Oh, my God. And good old Kevin Conroy. Look at there.
Stop and try to do what those guys are doing, even though you don't know how to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, the purpose of a business is to generate a profit after all. Especially if you're a publicly traded company, and a lot of these companies are. The dirty little secret of the games industry is that success is never guaranteed, though, and there's no simple formula for making a profit. There's just...
They would like to think that the process is simple. Just simply copy-paste all of the monetization models from other popular games into their game. That's what they would like to believe. Oh, it's simple. Just copy paste. Control-C, Control-V. But it's actually not like that.
Too many random factors that come into play, whether a game is successful or not. But screw that. I'll set all the corporate executives who clearly don't understand, let alone love video games. In their minds, the real secret to success is to find somebody who's successful and follow them around.
Yeah.
Which on an individual basis,
which makes you realize quickly like that is all business is. Wait for one guy to sprint ahead and then just quickly draft behind him in order to have like some sort of hope of like having some sort of similar success. That's all business really is.
It's good to learn from people, but when you're a business person, you're just ripping somebody else off. It doesn't quite work the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily drop you.
Hey, it's just business. It's nothing personal, man. It's just business. Hey.
Into success land. And that's just what a lot of companies did or tried to do. EA, Warner Brothers, Activision, Bethesda, Square Enix. They might not have mandated it, but they all wanted their game developer studios to, build some money printing presses. Oh, sorry. I mean, games with endless multiplayer elements and lots of microtransactions.
What game is this? Is this Skull and Bones? Is this a ship in Skull and Bones? I don't. What the hell is this? Character, property, add-on, packs, weapons, companions, utilities. What the fuck? Utilities?
Actions, which I can't imagine that ever
Oh, this is Anthem. I'm pretty sure this is Anthem, no?
getting old. The important thing to keep in mind is that the games industry wasn't immediately reacting to Fortnite's success. Almost all of these flops were in development well before Fortnite became the biggest thing in town.
Yeah.
Live service was a direction the industry was already going in. Everybody wanted that big hit. And when games like Fortnite and GTA Online started dominating the space and publishers started posting record profits, that really accelerated people's plans. To anyone in the know, it sounds insane for
Quick, everybody, do the live service money monetization model scheme. Quickly, everybody turn your game into live service. It's working. Strike while the iron's hot.
a company like Arcane Austin, most famous for their work on Prey, still underrated to this day, to do that. Like Bethesda going, hey, Arcane Austin, we own you, and what we want from you is live service games, when you clearly make immersive sims and do it in a highly specific way that is both critically and commercially well received.
Jesus.
And then Microsoft buys them, and Redfall just tanks hard because it's Redfall. And that's the first thing that Microsoft observes. I mean, this is a studio that really knew single-player games. People...
Yeah, I can't tell you how bad Redfall was because I saw the reviews on day one, and holy shit, there were so many bugs in that shit, dude. That looked like pre-alpha.
got jobs at Arcane Austin because they liked that kind of game, because Arcane Austin was famous for it. So everybody at Arcane Austin was really enthusiastic about that kind of game. And yet, in 2018, the same year Fortnite was really taking off, Arcane started work on Redfall, an online-only open-world cooperative shooter. It's easy to just...
Oh, online only? Well, that's a huge speed bump. Jesus.
Point at ZeniMax or Bethesda and say they forced Arcane into making a bad game. And for the most part, I am going to say that that is most of the problem, particularly with this one. That being said, devs are perfectly capable of making bad decisions on their own. The orders don't...
Oh, yeah. Devs are not saints by any means. Look at a lot of FPS shooting games and how unfriendly they are to M&K players for the most part, save CS and Val. And even then, sometimes it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Don't always come from the top. When ZeniMax wanted more microtransactions, Doom Eternal did it by shuffling all that stuff off to the multiplayer mode. The game still had a robust single-player component.
I have still never played a single match of Doom Eternal's multiplayer. I know it's like asymmetrical, like one Doomslayer and then two demons. I think I played one match, realized how fucking hard it is, and then I was like, okay, that's not for me.
Opponent though. And really, regardless of whose fault it is, Arcane making Redfall proved to be a terrible idea. Right from the start, the project lacked direction and enthusiasm for pretty much everybody involved, and according to reports, no one at Arcane wanted to make it. And you can just see that in the buggy, half-baked final product. Sources said the whole project was such a boondoggle that many in the company secretly hoped Microsoft would simply cancel the game after the acquisition. And as much as people used to praise Microsoft's hands-on approach with their studios, they probably should have canceled that game. I think it probably would have been better for everybody because they would have stopped sinking money into it and Arcane Austin would still exist. I mean, not that it really matters anyway, because it's estimated that around 70% of the staff that worked on Prey left the studio by the time Redfall actually shipped. The project was so disheartening to the people who wanted to be at Arcane that they just quit rather than deal with it. Like, they're obviously talented people. It'll be harder for them to bounce back somewhere else, but it's not like they're no talent hacks. They will be able to find work. So why not leave? If you're going to be stuck working on something that just kills your will to wake up every day, why stay there? And, you know, because of this, Arcane Austin also struggled to fill empty positions because I don't know how you get people who are like really excited about working in live service games at Arcane Austin, the developer famous for immersive sims. Like if you say to me, there's a position open at Arcane Austin, I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, they're making a live service game. Oh, well, I'm not going to apply for that. That's how my brain would work if I were them.
Oh my god, that's actually so true, man. And if that, I like, because I don't know what happens in the background of like all these developers and like for games that they got cooking that haven't yet released. Like if developers thought like that, I wonder what would actually happen to like the video game industry. Like if they were to see like, oh, we're cooking a live service game, and then they quickly see that like nobody with any real like experience or credentials applies. They just get like people like straight out of college. I wonder would that be just like a flood of just bad live service games? I mean, it kind of is like right now, but that's so funny.
And live service games are the problem, but
Yeah.
they're not the full problem. It's possible for a live service game to be good.
Yeah, look at Helldivers. Helldivers, even though I had my little gripes and groans about it, like I still say Helldivers is overall a solid ass game. Like live service game. And for $40. You can't beat that, man. Are you kidding me?
Divers 2 shows us that in spades. The problem here is forcing single-player devs who are not interested or straight up don't know how to make live service games. That's the problem. That's the biggest, most glaring problem.
Oh, let me see. Let me go back.
Forcing single-player devs who are not interested or straight up don't know how to make live service games. That's the problem.
Oh, okay. So forcing single player devs to make live service games. Yeah. Because a single player developer that making single player games has no idea how to chop their game up and make certain parts of the game inconvenient. There is only one path for a single player dev. That is, the perfect single player experience. But all of a sudden you want to introduce live service things, pay to win, pay for inconvenience, whatever. Then all of a sudden you have to chop your game up and create your game in such a way that inconveniences the player at every single moment of gameplay. Whereas before, something would have been like very easy to do. You wouldn't think anything of it. Like, oh, it's just a single player game. I'm just gonna get on my mount, fucking blast off, like triple fucking saddle spur the horsey, and then it'll just go. But like, oh, it's a live service game. If I want my horsey saddle, if I want like super boost, I have to make the base speed of the horse like dog shit slow. And then I could pay like another fee for like one spur. I could pay another fee for like to increase the base move speed. I could pay another fee to have like a fucking yellow arrow on the ground that like boosts the horse. I could have like another fee to and it's just like that. Like a seemingly simple mechanic of like mounting up and like just going somewhere is just chopped up in such a way that it's ridiculous. You're trying to like milk a fucking rock for all of its water.
That's the biggest, most glaring problem, I think, even more so than the idea that a live service game exists. No type of game is automatically good or bad, but it is automatically bad to try to get somebody who doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't want to do something to try to do the thing, because that thing is going to suck. Like, you'd run into this issue with genre changes anyway. Like, imagine taking the Battlefield team at DICE and saying, hey, make Baldur's Gate 4, please. It would probably be a disaster because,
But you would probably be able to destroy a lot of buildings. At the minimum.
They're multiplayer shooter guys, not systematic RPG guys.
Yeah.
The drive and the knowledge just isn't there. And let's even say that they're excited about it. That could be a project that easily beats them down because they got to learn everything over again.
Yeah.
And what we've come to learn in the past few years is that making live service games is hard. Even developers who have successfully done it, like Bungie, they struggle to remain profitable. Destiny 2 is a game characterized by crisis. It's a game that always seems like it's on the verge of completely breaking down. There are times when things are great, like with the Witch Queen, and then there's times when things are terrible and no one is happy with Destiny 2.
Oh boy.
Like with Lightfall. I mean, in general, Destiny 2's been a success, but you'd never know it from the community at times.
I just know Destiny is a massive game too big for a new player to just jump into. because there's so much fucking DLC. There's so many fucking expansions. It's the same effect that World of Warcraft has, like retail WoW. Like if somebody wants to get into retail WoW, they boot up the game and they're just like, what are all these fucking expansions? Do I have to do all this? No, you can just get like some level boost and then just jump into the most current expansion or current patch or whatever the fuck. But you're just sitting there questioning, oh, I just paid like $15 for the subscription thing and I got all these expansions. Do I have to do all this? Is there like an order? Which is the best one? Which is the worst one? Should I do this one? Should I not do that one? And so on and so forth. Destiny 2 has that same issue. There is so much fucking DLC. It's too daunting for like a brand new player to get into.
Problem with live service game is they require a constant stream of updates to stay afloat, and that means they need a constant stream of labor, and that means you're never done with them ever. And it's a delicate balance. You have to be satisfying but not quite satisfying. And
yeah, and all of a sudden what the trend was like years ago was like you get a game and you beat it and you're done with it and you're satisfied and it's completely. Now it's you beat the season, great. You get the seasonal thing, and you're like the entire game. Well, not the entire game industry, but like these like live service ones are like, just beat our seasonal content, and you can consider that 100% in your head. Like, but even though the game exists and there's gonna be like another new season out, it's like they're like conditioning you to be like 99% satisfied. You're never like 100% satisfied. In the same way that like a single player game would, like I don't know, like Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, whatever else. Did I say Armored Core twice? Whatever. The Arkham series. Like when you beat those games in their entirety, you're confident. It's like, yes, there was the beginning, there was the end, and I did it all. Now it's just like there's a beginning of the season, and then I maybe complete the season, or maybe I play a lot, and then my buddy stopped playing, and then, I'm kind of bored of this, and then I'm just going to stop. Yeah, that's literally what happens.
Enough to be done. Like, I will go ahead and say this. That's not automatically bad. Generally, it turns out bad, but I'll again point to Helldivers 2. They get it right. It's worth continuing to play it on an ongoing basis because it is just satisfying enough to not be satisfying, but be satisfying. I know that sounds ridiculous, but still.
I get what you're saying.
It's an extremely difficult balancing act. A dance with many delicate steps. One in which a single mistake could send the dancer flying, landing.
Dang, that was a good-ass transition. Helldivers, Explosion, Batman. That's a good-ass transition. I noticed that.
Right on their face. And that allegory took the extent of my dancing knowledge. You're welcome. Like, take Anthem. It's another example of a game where BioWare just didn't understand how to make a live service game. Flat out. It was
I didn't even play Anthem. Like, I was kind of hyped for it, but back in the day, I was still kind of like trepidatious or cautious in getting games on day one. I was like, well, let me wait a week. Let me wait a month. Let me see how this all pans out once all the hype boils down and whatnot, to see if the game can withstand past a month or a week or so. Because conceptually, this was like a cool idea for a game. You got like your little Iron Man suits. It's essentially Destiny with Iron Man suits and like a little bit more like abilities and like, I don't know, some sort of customization with guns and shit and maybe gameplay. I mean,
loot game where nobody was allowed to mention Destiny 2 during development.
Really? Oh my god, that's so fucking hilarious, dude. Let me see that. Over the months, Anthem had begun naturally picking up ideas and mechanics from loot shooters. Bro, it's fucking shooter. Loot shooters. Like The Division and Destiny. Although even mentioning the word Destiny was taboo at BioWare. Oh my god. That's like a weird culture shock thing. Like, it's obviously a fucking Destiny with like Iron Man suits, bro. Diablo 3 was the preferred reference point. Ugh. What a fucking clown show. Jesus. I couldn't imagine working in like a fucking environment like that. Don't say the name of the game that we're trying to copy. Oh my god, that's so funny, dude.
To mention Destiny 2 during development. BioWare was so desperate to avoid comparisons to other games, but instead of doing something unique, it just meant that the game fell in the same pitfalls that other developers had run into and learned to avoid years.
Like, I completely forgot why this game failed, but like, just off the game, like the gameplay looks all right, but if I'm playing this shit on M&K, automatically, there's too much fucking visual clutter. Like, I can't see what the fuck I'm shooting at. Is this motion blur or some sort of blur? There's fucking flames and shit going everywhere.
Ago. Basic.
Like, what the hell is happening? Like, I don't know how the movement felt. It was probably nice to fly and shit. I don't know how the physics system worked or the gunplay. It was probably like decent, but I don't know. I'd have to go back and see like why the fuck Anthem failed.
Game design decision problems pop up because, quote, old style AAA multiplayer game sensibilities tend to fly in the face.
Like, what the fuck was that, dude? Like, what are you shooting at? Are you shooting at this thing? They're like mini flashbangs and numbers, and like, look, they do this weird effect with the numbers where they're not like perfectly just like front facing. They gotta kind of like angle them up to be like a globe around the fucking enemy that you're shooting. Like, what are you guys doing to fucking min-max the goddamn immersion? Like, just make the fucking numbers the same.
Fly in the.
Do I need a fucking hit marker like jumping up and down like an X, like giving me a fucking seizure when I'm hitting the robot? Like, I already have like a fucking health bar and a nameplate on the dang thing, and now I have like, what is this? Like, what is this? This is so blurry. It's like the game has like a built-in level of bokeh in the center of the screen and what's happening on all the sides.
The face of the realities of.
Okay. What is this X? This is a new move? A new gun?
Live service games. Anthem, The Avengers, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Bro, what's actually hilarious to me is like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you're a dev and you're making like some fucking shooters, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, what is this fucking reticle? This is horrendous. And this is a hit marker. I don't know how many more fucking kaleidoscope shapes that you could slam into a reticle. What the fuck is this? Why is this needed? Total 7? XP? Data shards? What the fuck is this? There's a menu there. You know what's funny? This is borderline like what a fucking World of Warcraft like Mythic Raider setup looks like in terms of like how much add-ons are on this fucking screen. What is this? There's like a health bar, a stand bar, a plus signs, experience, tune in, anti-flash weapon. There's like this dude playing on controller too. Like, look it down here. There's this, whatever, I guess is an ultimate, and then like over here, there's like all this shit over here. This looks like and there's a fucking bar up here in the center. Where's the compass? Ain't no compass. All right, whatever. And there's like a mini map down here. There's like all these little D-pad thingies. This is a fucking World of Warcraft add-on, like a fucking whorehouse. I don't know, like crack house for shooters. What is this? This HUD is horrendous. This is, please.
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. All of these games are built like single-player games with a level of fidelity, which is fine for a single.
There's so much visual clutter.
Campaign with a beginning, middle, and end, but it's kind of a problem when the developers are expected to continue the story forever. Either these games end up feeling hollow and incomplete from the start, with developers cutting content from the main game and slowly sprinkling it out in content updates, or the live service aspect just barely exists, with the game going months on end without updates.
All right.
Either direction can kill a community. And
Good.
Another
hang up the controller. Almost, yeah.
thing that a lot of these developers fail.
Is this guy okay? For a second, I thought this animation was this guy is tapping on the screen, but no. There's like, this is a laptop. He's like tapping on the keys for this laptop and using the mouse for this computer. and he's got like a double mug on mug action. I guess coffee.
Failed to take into account was the community aspect. For a live service game to thrive, it needs an active and engaged community. According to whoever you talk to, whales are responsible for 60 to 70% of the revenue in every game.
Yeah. But the percentage of whales in these live service games can vary from 1% to 5%, accounting for 60 to 70% of the revenue stream. Like the rest of the player base is probably responsible for like 30 to 40% of it.
Without the community, without the people there, the whales have nothing to do.
Yeah. The whales need people to flex in front of, and the brokies need to have somebody to look up to see what they can buy one day if they just work enough doubles or overtime at their job. Yeah.
It's something that executives just flat out don't understand. They think, oh, well, it's like just cater to the whales. Give them exactly what they want and screw everyone else. It leads to decisions that can be very political or pandery, and a game never builds a community because no one wants anything to do with it except...
Well, at least in like from the United States perspective, if a game comes out and people quickly realize like the mass amounts of people that play the game, if the masses realize that the game is pay to win, the game's just bad. I mean, there are like fringe cases, like was it Genshin Impact and now Wuthering Waves. I like from my understanding that like the core gameplay is actually good, and it's just like there's just gacha mechanics in there, so it's whatever. It's not like all gacha games are bad. It just so happens that most gacha games are bad. That's why people don't really like them.
That for a very specific type of person who might be willing to give money based on the appeasement of their sensibilities. That's a highly specific example of the community problem that these developers have, but it goes out to be much more broad. Think about the other pie, the player, their time and their money. Finding a player who loves a game long enough to play it endlessly.
This is an apex predator, by the way, just sitting on a couch sideways with their little controller. And I mean that like the video game. This is an apex predator. Casually one-clipping everybody. Sitting sideways, lying down sideways on a couch.
Is one thing. Convincing them to play a few at once, that's tough. We all have obligations in life. Jobs, school, family, hygiene, physical.
Goddamn hygiene. Fucking hate hygiene, dude.
And mental health. Cheeses from
mental health.
Various countries. There's a lot of different cheeses. I've probably had 9 of them. There is a lot to
Bro, there's more than like one cheese. I just been eating that orange ass American cheese. You're telling me there's more than just American?
Experience in life, and some of it you have to do, some of it is optional, but it all takes time. You can't exactly mainline Destiny or World of Warcraft and Warframe and Fortnite and play Diablo's new season and be a productive member of society all at once. Like
for a lot of what he's saying, it's like because it is what it is. You have to choose one, maybe 2 live service games, and those are your games. Because you feel like, however connected to it, you feel like the value proposition is good enough to invest your time into it, whatever. You can only choose 1 or 2. There's a shitload of them. Everyone can't be a winner. And why are you bringing up Monster Hunter Rise?
It's not going to happen. I'm sure some of you are going to say that you can, but you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
Don't try to do that. It will probably kill you.
Yeah.
Like we talk about crunch in game development, but what about on the consumer end? They're asking...
Again, he shows gameplay of your average Apex Predator, top 750 on PC. Just chilling back on the beanbag, 10 feet away from his bit large 72-inch 4K TV.
And us to do crunch.
And that's a 1 clip right there, in case you didn't know. All that, that's a 1 clip.
Except for they want us to pay them. The reality of life is that adding another live service to your play is a tough sell, especially if that game releases as a mess or doesn't have like a good content roadmap or, you know, any of the many live service problems we've talked about over the last few years. Like in Redfall, you can see a kind of glimmer of the old Arcane in some of the world design, or in Suicide Squad, there's hints of the Rocksteady we all know and love in certain set pieces. But with these games, their unique vision was sacrificed to chase a trend. When you try to please everyone, you can end up pleasing no one. In fact, it's much more likely than pleasing everyone. And it didn't have to be this way. Again, there are good live service games, even ones with solid single-player components, like take GTA Online. GTA 5 is still there. It's playable, and the modes are completely separate and don't interfere with each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
like when I first got GTA 5 years ago, which is hilarious to say, it was the first GTA campaign that I played from beginning to end, and I liked it. It was not bad. But the moment I joined the multiplayer, I was so disinterested in it.
drag that Rockstar gave up on some pretty amazing sounding DLC.
Because like the main thing that GTA 5 was peddling was like heists. And then years later, when they didn't even come out with the heists, and then like a couple years after that, they finally came out with heists, I was like, bro, that shit was like 6 years ago. You're telling me it took you 6 years to make fucking heists? Get shit out of here.
Starring Trevor as a secret agent for the single-player game, and instead dedicated all their time to GTA Online, but the core game is still there, and it's still excellent. The same seems like it's going to be true for GTA 6. It seems like they're following that mode. Even if the single-player game turns out being a loss leader to get people in the door for GTA Online 2, or whatever they want to call it, the fact is GTA 6 is going to be GTA 6.
And I think even that's like a bad mentality to have like a single player experience to be your lost leader and to be like the gateway drug into your live service multiplayer version of your game. I mean, shit, man. Like if that's the mentality, it's like we're going so far in reverse that we're eventually going to start going forward again.
But all these devs had to go live service on their most recent games, and all to their ruin. Arcane Austin was closed. BioWare has been mostly silent, other than releasing a few concept art compilations doubling as trailers since 2019, and they lost a lot of their key figures. We don't know what's going to happen to Rocksteady after the failure of Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.
But that game was specifically called out as a failure by Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's unlikely that the planned content for the game is going to all come out, and who knows where they're going to be in a year. Other studios have suffered too.
Maybe in a year, though, instead of like, let me see. Maybe in a year, it'll be like 300 players concurrent. Maybe.
Platinum's reputation was damaged after the abysmal Babylon's Fall. I just assume that there's some kind of contractual obligation with that travesty because it makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, Kamiya stopped working at Platinum, but that doesn't mean every single person with the sensibilities left. In fact, I'd wager there are a lot more people there that understand how to make games. What the hell got them involved in Babylon's Fall? Every time we bring that one up, I'm just beyond frustrated with it. But I'll say this, out of the primarily single-player studios that made a live service push, Naughty Dog is probably the one that got out unscathed because they did the sensible thing and just canned The Last of Us Factions 2.
Yeah.
It still cost the studio years of wasted time that could have been better spent focusing on what they're good at, but at least they're not stuck supporting a game they have no ability to keep running for years on end. That's the real issue with live service games. They're very risky propositions. Even when they're being made by developers who know exactly what they're doing, there's a good chance the game will fail, not find an audience, or just burn up too much money. So what chance does a developer with no experience with these types of games have? Like, they're trying to get...
They got no chance, essentially.
Buying the goodwill from their previous games and their AAA developer status, but that's just not enough. If these devs had just stuck to what they're good at, they'd probably be turning a profit. Would it be all the profit? No. But again, there is a specter haunting the games industry. And when
Yeah.
you can't get all the profit, it's just not good enough for some publishers and studios.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on in these guys' heads at like the tippity top, trying to make everything live service, man. I really don't know.
Heads. Ultimately, the mindless pursuit of profits over rational business planning is the real problem here. And you could ask anyone but a studio head or one of these business executives running a publisher, anyone else, ask any other person. They'll tell you maybe we should have a plan. But for them, there is no plan. The live service game is basically like oil in them dar hills.
There's oil in them there hills. It's not oil, it's oil. There's oil in them hills.
We don't have a plan. We're just going to set a bunch of people loose with pickaxes and hope somebody comes back with oil or gold or diamonds or something. Whatever. It's whatever's worth money. Just bring it back. No, they should have.
Oh my God, that's such a good analogy too. I mean, but it doesn't have to be like that, man. It really doesn't. Like, a lot of the paths, well, like, let me think of like, I mean, all I can say is like Helldivers 2 is like a great single player / multiplayer experience. And it's just like either 1 to 4 dudes versus like some bugs or robots. That's all it is. You can play it single player if you want, but I mean, like, imagine if Elden Ring was a live service game and then every season they would come out with like a new, like, I don't know, zone or something with like 10 new bosses or something. I don't fucking know. But the current like level up system, it would be completely different. The cosmetic system would be completely different. Would it still be like, would that be like a good live service single player game that everybody would like and enjoy? I don't know.
Have a plan, and the plan should maybe involve using people's talents and skills that have been established to make things that people want. And again, I realize that it's easy to take a big old dump on live service games, and I will continue to do that.
Yeah.
But it's not just live service games. The industry feels like it's in a free fall. But the thing is, it's not true everywhere. Over in Japan, Capcom has enjoyed its 7th straight year of record profits. And they've been putting out a solid mix of live service and single-player games. Nintendo doing the same thing by sticking to, I don't know, what they know how to do. They're not throwing everything out the window because they see something shiny. That's exactly what all of these other publishers and developers are doing, though.
Yeah.
When they're trying to make something that they just don't know how to do. It's a risky business to make games. There's always going to be backfires, even when you're rationally planning things, and the result is killing or damaging the reputation of these great studios that some of the best single-player games ever have come out of. Looking back on...
I mean, yeah, the reputations are getting destroyed. What was once great is now shit.
On this whole thing, these studios would have been better off just going to the casino and putting the budgets of these games on black.
Yeah.
They could have turned a profit. A lot of this was just short-term thinking and trend chasing. I wish I could say the industry is finally starting to learn its lesson after the latest high-profile service game failure, but no. After admitting the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was an utter failure, what was Warner Brothers Discovery's takeaway from the whole thing? To double down on live service games, of course.
Oh, what a clown show. It's like, ironically enough, a lot of these live service games are shooters, which is so sad because I like shooting games, but not like this. This is just dog shit. This is utter dog shit garbage. This is a dick salad. This is a supersized dick salad for the entirety of the shooting genre.
Course, even though their most popular game, their most profitable game, probably the biggest success they've had in years was, Hogwarts Legacy, an entirely single-player game. They made a crap ton of money off of that. And after a live service failure, they're like, well, single-player games, am I right? Make another live service game. If there's one thing you can count on in the games industry, it's that these big corporations will make dumb as hell decisions.
Yeah.
That is the one bet you can count on. You don't need to put it on black. Put all your money on the big corporations making dumb as hell decisions.
Yeah.
That's not random. It's gonna land there. If somebody gives you 30-1 odds on that, you take it because you are walking away with 30 times the money that you had prior. That's all I got for you today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you
Oh,
like
man.
this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.
Game ranks? Oh, I thought it was like gamer rant or game rant. Game ranks? Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, man. Like what was once killing multiplayer games is now killing single player games, which is live service. It's not like all live service is bad. It just so happens that unironically most live service is bad and nobody really knows how to do it, save like some outliers like Helldivers or Power World or something. I don't even think Power World is Power World live service? I don't remember. But yeah. I mean, hopefully it won't kill every genre. Hopefully the genres can get better. But who knows? But I mean, yeah, man, this is a great video. I love it and I want to see more. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one, all right? Later.